Message for Kellyanne Conway and Donald Trump. And what I'm going to present to you is some of the secrets that you need to know to win this political campaign. And notice the same word campaign is used as in a military campaign. They are both campaigns, and strategy is extremely important. We all know now that she baits you, and you take the bait, and you run with it. And it wastes a lot of time. You could be attacking her, what you need to do. You have to take a look at the campaign like a war. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this book, The Art of War. 2,600 years. And it's here on my desk. It's still pertinent. Still quoted at West Point and St. Cyr. The ability to defeat the enemy means taking the offensive. Staying on the defensive indicates insufficient strength. Attacking a superabundance of strength. So that's where you are. You're on the defensive. They keep on coming up with all these accusations and stuff like that, and you get all embroiled in it and all tied up. And the people and everybody focus on it and drags it on for weeks or days or weeks. And you miss the opportunity to attack. This is number 14. Hence, the skillful fighter does not miss a moment for defeating the enemy. Therefore, a clever combatant imposes his will on the enemy, but does not allow the enemy to impose their will on him. What are you doing? You're letting Hillary impose her will on you. Her strategists are better than yours because they got you like a bull in a ring with a ring in his nose leading you around. Oh, they come out with this and they come out with this, and you're up there defending it, rah, 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 fighting back at it. Wrong strategy. Wrong way to handle it. 2,600 years of experience. This is not me talking. We're looking at what you're doing and how it applies to the art of war. Okay. And this is from the section on maneuvering. Number 35. Do not swallow bait offered by the enemy. Did you hear me? Do not swallow bait offered by the enemy. Makes me mad. I'm passionate about this. I want you to win, but you're going to have to use the strategy that's been proven for 2,500 years. And the other is this. We're going to be talking about that from Karl von Clausewitz, the Prussian general on the art of war. You get baited by the enemy and you get embroiled. And you become on the defensive. How do you win a war? Offense. Where have you been? On defense. You can't win a football game with defense. You need the defense, but you gotta have an offense. A tremendous offense can make up for a bad defense. You don't need to spend time on a defense. The rule of the game, and it's told over and over and over again, and it works extremely well, is when you're attacked or baited or accused of something, you ignore. Just ignore. Don't give it any energy or attention, because what you put your attention on will grow and become bigger. And look at everything that they have thrown at you. You've taken it and exploded it and make it much bigger and then expanded it. You don't handle it. You let Pence and Giuliani and your other spokesmen handle it. You don't take the bait because that ties you up. Sun Tzu said there are 5 dangerous faults which may affect a general. Number 1 is recklessness. We'll talk about that. Number 2, cowardice. We don't have to worry about that. You're no coward. Number 3, hasty temper. which can be provoked by insults. Throw an insult at you and you take it. You take the bait and you run with it. Number 4, sensitivity about your honor and sensitivity to shame. And number 5, being over-concerned about the comfort of his men, which we don't have to worry about. So the 5 dangerous faults which may affect a general. Recklessness, which leads to destruction. Bravery without forethought causes a man to fight blindly and desperately like a mad bull. Such an opponent must not be encountered with brute force. The strategy against you is they should not encounter you with brute force, but may be lured into an ambush and slain. Okay, number 3, hasty temper, which can be provoked by insults. Defeat them. So that's what's happening to you. They're using you against you. Okay. Number 4, delicacy of honor, which is sensitive to shame. This does not need to mean that a delicacy of honor is really a defect in a general. But Sun Tzu condemns it as an exaggerated sensitivity to slanderous reports. Thin-skinned men who are stung by attacks, disgracing him, however undeserved, are prey to the enemy. The seeker after glory should be careless of public opinion. So what people say? Ignore it. Let somebody else handle the press and the pundits. Okay, so that's Sun Tzu. So there are the 5 dangerous faults which may affect a general. And what we're looking at with number 1, recklessness. Number 2, hasty temper. And number 3, sensitivity to honor and shame. Now when he goes on further says, number 13, these are the 5 besetting. These are the ones that can set you back. These are the 5 besetting sins of a general. Ruinous to the conduct of war. And number 14, when an army is overthrown and its leader slain, the cause will surely be found among these 5 dangerous faults. Let them be a subject of meditation. So pay attention to Sun Tzu and those 5 faults of a general. Now we go to Karl von Clausewitz, the Prussian general. And this is in a book by Marketing Warfare by Al Rees and Jack Trout. It has been decades and decades and is a standard text on marketing warfare. Now, a single-minded commitment to winning the battle on effort alone usually dissolves into defeat. From the trenches of World War I to the streets of Stalingrad in World War II, the military commander lets his armies get bogged down in hand-to-hand slugging match is usually defeated. What did we talk about before? Hand-to-hand combat slugging match. And where are you? You're on the defensive. You're not delivering any effective blows. In the last debate, you got in a few effective blows. You got to continue a barrage, an attack. You have to be in offensive. That's the first thing we considered. That Sun Tzu says you have to be on the defensive. What do? You're on the defense. Defend. This, all the accusations, forget about them. Ignore them. They will go away by themselves because everything you say feeds them and keeps it going. In a sense, validates it. And puts in people's mind, wow, it must have happened because he's all there defending himself. But if you just ignore it and go on and talk about something else and don't take the bait. So what do you do when they come after you with these questions? Well, as I mentioned before, you can ignore them, or you can reject the questions, or you can invalidate the questions, or you can attack the question, or you attack the moderator, or you attack Hillary. I'll give you some examples. Is that they present you with a question, say about something about your character. You say, I will not glorify this ridiculous campaign against my character with a response. Your question is not related to the security and safety of this country. While Hillary's treasonous federal crimes against our national security has jeopardized our country's safety. Next one. I will not entertain your biased questions that are a distraction from the real issues of how Hillary will sell our national interests to foreign enemies and terrorist countries for mega donations to her Clinton Foundation, which is an attempt to distance her from these treasonous transactions and avoid paying taxes that she rightfully owes. Another example. That question is beneath what a debate should be about, and I will not honor it with a response. While Hillary gets guns to terrorists and jihadists that she will allow to infiltrate into our country as refugees, but she will take away our defense, our guns, from us. Another example. Your badgering me is an uncouth, inappropriate disruption of the decorum of a civilized debate. Like to Anderson Cooper or somebody. While Hillary has disrupted civilizations like Haiti, already devastated by natural events, and provided little real help while she lined her pockets with millions from huge contracts she awarded to inexperienced, incompetent buddies while she was the Secretary of the State. Another example. Your handling of this debate is impertinent and divisive. Why does Hillary get the questions before the debate, but I do not? Is that fair and is that balanced? Why are your supporters, Hillary supporters, indulging in the criminal act of stealing Trump sign off of people's lawns? We had our signs stolen. Where is your supporters' respect for the Constitution and First Amendment's rights? Is that what your supporters are like? So things like that, you attack Hillary, attack the moderator, attack the question, invalidate the question, or reject it or completely ignore it. Okay, this is defensive principle number 2. The best defensive strategy is the courage to attack yourself. Now, what does that mean? The best way to improve your position is by constantly attacking it. In other words, you strengthen your position by introducing new campaign promises and wrongs to right. New things that are campaign material. And as an example in marketing here, IBM is a master of this game. Every so often, IBM introduces a new line of mainframe computers with significant price performance advantages over existing products. The competition continually struggles trying to catch up. Moving targets are harder to hit than the stationary one, so that Hillary's campaign is trying to keep, trailing behind you, and they're on the defensive. Okay, you have to put out more of what people want to hear. They want to hear that their Social Security is sacred, that you're going to maintain it and keep it there, that it's important, that people have their benefits, will keep their benefits, and have their benefits in the future, and they won't be taken away, because that's what they're afraid of. They're afraid you're going to take them away and make them go to work. They may not want to go to work. And make sure that the people who don't wish to work still maintain their benefits. Our country will be so rich, so overflowing with cash, we can support those people. Did you know that Isaac Newton would not have made all his discoveries about gravity and all the laws of physics if he hadn't been prevented from going to school for 2 years? I think I got my facts straight, for 2 years because of the plague. And he had time at home to go and develop all of this, which most of modern science has been on. Because why? He didn't work. There's nothing wrong with not working, as long as it doesn't degrade you. So what? In the principles of warfare, for the number 2 position, and don't forget, we don't know really who's 1 or who's 2. You may be in 2, so you have to assume that you're in position 2. Offensive warfare is a game for number 2 in a given field. Mount a sustained offensive against the leader. You can't do that when you're defending yourself. Forget about defending yourself. It goes away when you don't put any energy and attention to what you focus on, what you resist, you get. Law of the universe. If you push harder against something, the harder it pushes back, and you will get it. So forget about it. Just move away from it. There's an ancient Chinese principle, wu wei. You go with the flow. You don't fight it or resist it, and it disappears. The pundits and all the talking heads won't have much ammunition or ammo or things to talk about if you don't address it. Just let it go. Now, offensive principle number 1 is the main consideration in the strength of the leader's position. You look at the strength of the leader's position. What number 2 should do is to focus on the leader. When the leader owns a position in the mind of the prospect, to win the battle of the mind, you must take away the leader's position before you can substitute your own. It's not enough for you to succeed. Others must fail, and specifically, the leader must go down in flames. Offensive principle number 2. I hope you're listening. Find a weakness in the leader's strength and attack at that point. Let's look at that again. That's not a misprint. We mean find a weakness in the leader's strength. Now, what does that mean? What are we going to do? You don't look for something in the leader's weakness. You look for a flaw or a weakness in the leader's strength. And this ties in to principle number 3. Offensive principle number 3 says launch an attack on as narrow a front as possible. In order to penetrate, you got to be focused and a narrow point attack. You don't use a broad attack all over. So how do you do that? Well, what's her strength? Her strength is that people like her. She's like one of us. You know, she's been around. We know her. We're more comfortable with her. You can count on Hillary. That's her strength. And that she has experience and her name is known and people feel comfortable with her. But what you have to do, you have to focus and attack her on one thing, and everything that she's done, every evil action, you have to focus back in on that one thing. And what that is criminal treason. She's a traitor. You talk about the emails. Figure it out. Do a brief explanation of what happened and how she is a traitor and she betrayed her country. Selling the uranium and uranium mines to the Russians. Taken away from us. Our defensive advantage. Giving it to the Russians. Treason. Traitor. And pound that. Treason, traitor. She betrayed these people. She will betray you again. She has a history of betrayal. Betrayal. Traitor, traitor, traitor. Heading for prison. Traitor, traitor. Keep on pounding that in. You focus. That's your narrow point in. In order to bring her down in flames, you can't use a blanket attack all over the place. No carpet bombing. Precision bombing. So the 3 principles of offensive warfare. The main consideration is the strength of the leader's position, the enemy leader position. In other words, you focus on the enemy and their position, not your own. You find the weakness in the leader's strength and attack at that point. Her strength is your familiarity. She's well known. People feel comfortable with her. I mean, your personality is so different and they don't like it, so they're going to vote for Hillary. What you have to do is you have to undermine that. Undermine that. So the cloak in the front, like the Wizard of Oz, and you pull the curtains back and you find out what a sniveling little snit and traitor she is. Selling her influence, where she has a position against something. Somebody comes in with cash, donates it to the foundation, and Bill does a few speeches, and she gets millions of dollars into the foundation. Now she says, okay, now we can do this business deal to sell these weapons or stuff. And what is she doing? She's betraying us. Focus everything on, she's a traitor. That has to be the focus of the campaign. And again and again and again, you can't go, well, emails, well, so what, email? Everybody emails, well, what's the big deal? Lying, what's the big deal? Scams, what's the big deal? No, you got to show how it's damaged people. Make ads with explaining what she did and showing pictures of bombs dropping on St. Louis and Chicago and Pittsburgh and New York, and on the side of the bombs is made with Hillary made with uranium from Hillary. And show the destruction afterwards. Show pictures of the atomic bombs. Show burned out cities. Show the horror. You got to get so friggin' dirty and down. You have to show the horror. Because that's only going to shake her loose. You have to undermine her credibility completely. But only by focusing on her traitorous actions and what they can do and what they will do. I'm sure you can dig up thing after thing after thing after thing and use that as ammunition against her. And you take every one of those and you get it into, you have your team put it into a 20-second sound bite, and you work with the team, and you get it so it rolls off your lips, so you get, just like earlier in we talk about, as soon as you have an opportunity to defeat or attack the enemy, boom, you do. That pause right there, bam, 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 and no mumbling on, just bam, 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 bam. Get that 20-second sound bite in there, how she has caused death and destruction and kills babies and the whatever. Make it horrible. You really got to make it horrible, horrible to reach these people. Single point of attack. Here we go again. At any given point in time, one objective should dominate the campaign and in the campaign's strategic plans. That's what you need to do. That one objective. You have first call on all the company's resources. You might call this the concept of single point of attack, and it works. You have to be willing not to spend 100 million, 200 million. You have to be willing to put your total ass on the line. Everything. Why? Because this election determines whether we slip into 1,000 or 10,000 years of darkness, as Reagan said, or we don't. My hide and your skin and everybody else's is worthless. It doesn't matter at this point. We have to get done what needs to be done. So whatever you got to spend on it, and just make her into a monster that people will know not to trust. And you have to spend a fortune on the ads. Just make it so horrible. Forget the lawsuits that they'll throw at you. Big deal. Lawsuits are a business expense, so expect them. But you gotta fight. You gotta attack. And no defense. Somebody throws something at you, dodge it. And attack. Okay. You get me worked up here. I gotta go to bed pretty soon. I want to be shivering in bed. No, it's okay. I love it. I love it. Oh, yeah. We're going to win. We have won. You're going to listen to this and you're going to go, BOOM! Who is this friggin' guy sitting in his office? Okay. Attack and counterattack. Sound familiar? All right. To every action states a law of physics, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Many marketing commanders draw up battle plans as if the enemy will make no response. They'll just lay down and die. We're the number one product now. We're the winner. Now, nothing is further from the truth. The likelihood is just the opposite. Don't get blindsided. A good marketing strategy is one that anticipates the competitor's counterattack. What's the DNC's position now? What are they going to do? Many of the principles of marketing warfare recognize the danger of counterattack. Be prepared for it. Offensive principle number 2. Find a weakness inherent in the leader's strength and attack at that point. So a lot of time that you could be attacking Hillary, you waste on defense. All right. The other thing is check her for wires. Check her for earpieces. Because there are some videos floating that looked like she had something in her ear or something on the podium, like a teleprompter. Not just a light, but a teleprompter. So you got to make sure. You can even jump on that. If you know for sure and you see one there, you got somebody in the wings there with binoculars checking her out up and down, making sure he has nothing there. Looking at what's on the podium. And if you definitely spot an earpiece there, call her on it. Play it to its end. Attack! Oh yeah, having an affair with Yoko Ono. Oh my God, if that's true. Any of those escapades they said you were involved in would pale to that if that was true with Yoko Ono. Deadly. You gotta find the dirt. You gotta find the crap. And you gotta have the balls to use it 1,000% against her, because that's how we're gonna win. I mean, you are like Patton. All or nothing, and willing to do it. So, we won. We won. We really did win. Amazing. Amazing. Thanks.